Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and welcome to my map breakdown guide to Battlefield 4's Golmud Railway. Now, in this guide, I'm going to go over some tips on how to view the different capture points on the maps and some strategies on how to better capture these points, or at least die less trying to take these points. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rank each point from high priority, medium priority, to low priority, and I plan on doing guides like these for all the maps as they become playable, so keep an eye out for those as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into Golmud Railway and get cracking. First, we begin with capture points A and B. Now, I bundled these two together because of two reasons. Firstly, the proximity to one another, and second, their similarities to one another. Now, Golmud Railway is arguably the most vehicle-focused map that came out with Battlefield 4 at its release. This is the first step to understanding this map when looking at your playstyles. So when looking at each point, we must decide if it's a capture point that lends its surroundings to be more infantry-focused in playstyle, more vehicle-focused in playstyle, or if it has a sweet spot somewhere right in the middle. Now, A and B, in my opinion, are the only two clearly infantry-focused points on Golmud, and I think the evidence is pretty clear. They both run along the same road, and they have buildings straddling both sides of the road, with plenty of walls, containers, and trees to obscure the view. Taking into account the inevitable ruins that are made and the massive potholes that show up, and you have a vehicles and nightmare engagement. The chance for one soldier to pop out, drop mines, or C4 on you is so high it makes even the most veteran player take a second guess. If you enjoy playing the more straight-up gun game in Battlefield, then these 2 points will be your home on this map. They are close together, and with only 7 capture points total, holding both can mean some serious points for the rest of your team. That being said, I do rank capture points A and B as low priority due to their countered focus to the rest of the map, which is much more vehicle focused. But don't let that mean that you can't take these from time to time. Just be prepared to meet lots of infantry if you're in a vehicle, and if you're infantry, that means rooting out a lot of enemies from small rooms and under rubble just to be able to flip these points. Moving on to C, we have a very mixed attack point that could really be seen as either infantry or vehicle focused. There are buildings, and from the direction of most of the other points on the map, there's an incline allowing for infantry at nearby A and B to have a chance to pop over and use that height advantage. The buildings, though, are few and far between, and easily brought down by tanks, attack helos, and artillery. So this point, then, I consider a mixed advantage point. C is also the spawn point for the little bird on the map, which can be useful when trying to assist an attack or a defense of A and B. Its proximity to A and B also makes it a great place to capture to give your team or your squad a little bit more of a solid place to spawn from. When attacking this point in a vehicle, make sure to take down as much of the buildings as possible and keep your turret on a real big swivel for people trying to use mines or C4 against you. If you're attacking as an infantry, often playing in the buildings and picking your time to attack those vehicles or shoot those enemy infantry in the back is your best bet. Now, being in the buildings usually won't help you capture the point, but in times when it's dangerous, use as much cover that is left, and that will get you to stay alive. I list C as a medium priority point. D is the Levolution part of Golmud Railway and is simple but incredibly misunderstood point. D is the highest priority when first spawning. The point of D rolls along tracks to whomever has full control of it. It will not start moving until you have full control of it. When it finally stops, it will either be near G or E, the two closest points to either spawn. This makes capturing D for your side very important because it is near your spawn, so it makes it less likely to be taken back. If you hold E or G, depending on your spawn, you basically start the match with one capture point advantage, and it's in your home turf, making flipping it back all the more difficult. D spawns just below C in the very beginning of the match in a man-made goalie of sorts, and should be the first thing you and your squad take. Try to keep an eye on this point throughout the entire game and make sure it's always you that has it and it's always safe. Lastly, we hit E, F, and G. Now these 3 points are what I consider my highest priority to attack. They have open fields all around them with some hills and valleys to give great cover for vehicles as they move to attack and defend. The road that connects them all has a nice slight bend in it that can be used to possibly fire, retreat, and advance to fire again whenever in a tank or LAV. Your home point of E or G, depending on your spawn, should always be on your side, and again, when paired with D, creates a very solid advantage. It should be noted that both E and G are pretty much level to the ground, so these are definitely not infantry points. F, on the other hand, is by far the most hotly contested point, and rightly so for two reasons. It has clear areas to target infantry, and sometimes vehicles from the air, and this is the only point on Golmud that grants commanders an ability. Taking F for your team allows you to use a gunship, which can be used by your team to rain havoc and hell upon any enemy within its grasp. If you enjoy playing a tank and are anything good at it, this should be your #1 point to take, hold, and strike from. From F, you can quickly take D or even C, not to mention E or G. The key to success for most teams is taking D, then E, or G depending on your spawn, then finally F. Now this is 3 of 7 capture points already. Then C with the possibility of taking the enemy's closest point of E or G, again based on your spawns. That should give you 4 to 5 capture points out of the total of 7. Now there's always going to be players who enjoy gun games, and so hopefully they will be any good at it, they'll be able to supplement any losses of these points with the taking of A or B. But if you're in a vehicle, don't make A or B your focus. Well, I guess that about wraps up my thoughts and advice on Golmud Railway, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd really appreciate you sharing this guide with your fellow Battlefield players. Feel free to like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to show your support and see more of these guides. As always though, my name is Chris, and I'll see you guys next time.